the opponent's at 98 here. We might be able to get a win. This might be, it looks like we're about to take the right side. I have a problem. I hate Clash Royale, but I can't stop playing it. And no matter what I do, I just get this nagging feeling in my brain. It's like this little voice that's telling me how stupid this game is. Sure, it's pay to win, and sure, I might also just be bad at it, but when I'm faced with the dumb problem, there's only one thing that I can do: make a dumb solution. So my goal for this week is to try and progress as far as I can with the dumbest code that I can think of. So for those who haven't been tainted by this game, there's a few important things to know. The goal of Clash Royale is to try and destroy your opponent's tower before they destroy yours. And you do so by using a collection of 8 cards that is called a deck. And at any given time in the game, you're given 4 cards to choose from that's part of your hand. And when you place a card somewhere on the map, then you get another card in your hand. So you always have 4 cards. In order to place a card, it costs some amount of elixir. Some cards are expensive, some are cheap, some are fast, some are slow, and some deserve to burn in hell for the rest of time. Now, here's where you're probably wondering what exactly I'm going to be making. And so am I. Like I said, the idea for today is to try and beat or, get as far as I can with some really dumb code. And what I came up with, what I made was this. Let me show you one more time. Almost. There it was. Anyways, what this code does is basically it randomly selects any of the 4 cards that you have on hand, and then it places them randomly on the map. That's literally all it does. And it also uses OpenCV to detect the battle or like the start game button and the OK buttons. Ultimately, the actual logic behind the moves that I'm making in a game is completely down to semi-random chance. So before I go ahead and run everything, let's talk about a few ground rules. So my goal, like I said, is to progress. In order to do this, I'm going to allow myself to make upgrades. In the game, when you collect a certain amount of cards from their little in-game loot systems, you can upgrade your cards so that I think the maximum level is 14, and then you can get them to 15 with this weird thing that they have. I'm definitely not going to get that far, but when I have a card that can be upgraded, I'm going to upgrade it because that'll help me progress. But for the most part, aside from upgrades, the entire game is going to be done purely by this script. And along with that, in order to help make things a bit easier, I changed a little bit to the deck, so it's not exactly the default deck that you get when you start the game. I made a few changes. The main reason for this is because of the fact that since it's a random selection and random placement, when I have what's called spell cards, so things like the fireball or arrows, it's a very small chance that those cards will get used the way they're supposed to be used. It just ends up being a waste of elixir. So I took those cards out of my deck and replaced them with whatever I replaced them with. But besides that, everything else is just completely done by the script. Anyways, what my plan is now is I'm going to leave the run coding. I'm going to leave the code running overnight and catch a little bit of sleep. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I didn't actually. A little bit of trickery here because I'm recording this on tomorrow. It's tomorrow right now, but I already ran it overnight. So first, before I went to sleep last night, I wanted to make sure that my code wouldn't blow up, is the scientific way of describing it. So I added a few restrictions to it. One of them, namely, includes a timer so that once it reaches a certain time, like I think I set it to 10 a.m., once it reached 10 a.m., the code would automatically stop running since it is just running on a while true loop. And my biggest worry was this specific problem that kept happening. Hopefully I have the video and it's here. But basically what happens is, let's say, for example, the code thinks that a game is happening, that it's currently in a match, and it didn't actually press the battle button, and instead it's stuck on the menu. In this situation, it's just going to be scrolling back and forth on the menu which isn't going to accomplish anything. But the biggest issue here is that since it uses the OK button as a means of determining when a game has ended, it's never going to see the OK button, and it will always think the game is going. So at that point, it'll just be stuck and it won't work at all. That's my biggest worry. The other thing is if it breaks and there's some kind of error that occurs, it'll just blow up, because I didn't test much of this code at all until last night at 3 a.m. Luckily though, none of these bad things happened, and it actually ran the entire night all the way up until 10 a.m. So let's take a look at the video that I accidentally recorded for 8 hours and see how we did. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here for the next almost 9 hours and react to everything, which is also why I have this thing. So what this is inside of the code, it's a log of everything that happened for the entire time that this code ran. Let's skip forward a bit. Let's take a look at 6 a.m. Let's see how things are looking about here. Alrighty, so we've got ThonyBot up against Emin, and for some reason, Emin's going with a continuous only ground troop play, which is just gonna let these minions just go on in there, run things up. What? Okay, and they're gonna continue that bombardment with the fireball to no avail as our mini P.E.K.K.A goes in and takes the left tower. Now here we get a Musketeer and a Giant, but that's not gonna do jack shit when you have a mini P.E.K.K.A taking out your tower. Let's see what happens. I don't even know what's gonna happen in this game. Now a mini P.E.K.K.A against a Giant, that is a pretty solid defense. That's what I would have done. And our Knight is going in on the right side tower. At this point, ThonyBot has a very clear advantage for some reason. And, you know, this is the beauty of random.choice. Sometimes you just get wonderful plays by complete accident. Are we going to get a defensive placement here? No, we are not. We're not going to get any defensive placement here. The opponent's at 98 here. We might be able to get a win. This might be, it looks like we're about to take the right side. 3 hit points. That is something. And a great fireball placement here that hit absolutely nothing. If ThonyBot can get any troops through on the right side, it will honestly just mean a victory. This could be, you know, a Giant placement, maybe these spear goblins, and there we go. That's a 2-crown victory right there. Now, I mean, it's just beautiful. It really is just something. And a perfect click back to the battle, off to do it again. So we got ThonyBot going in strong with a pair of archers and a Giant, meeting up with a level 6 Valkyrie on the right side, which honestly does a pretty decent job, aside from those arrows. Once again, our biggest weakness with ThonyBot is an opponent that has a brain and is able to place spell cards on troops. It's not a good looking position. It could very quickly be a 3-crown loss unless ThonyBot is able to pull through and very quickly take out this right side tower in the next 40 seconds. Hoy is completely distracted at taking out the middle tower. Hoy has also placed a Giant badly, where it is now going for the wrong tower. I'm starting to see where this could potentially turn ugly for Hoy, especially if this mini P.E.K.K.A breaks through here and lands the hit. And there you have it right there, and look at that. That is a 2-crown victory. Only 112 hit points left on the middle tower that Hoy was not able to get, securing ThonyBot's 49th and final victory of the night. Honestly, I'm gonna have to throw it back to you, Tim. Now, how did this whole thing do? Basically, using a completely random strategy, my script was able to win 49 out of 133 times. That's like, I think it's about a 39% win rate. Now, how far did I progress? Actually, hold on. I need to check that. It's loading. Give me a second. So we progressed from complete zero, from a completely new account, to the highest that we got was 694, and where we ended after my sleep, after running the code last night, was 610 trophies. In total, this equated to 69 battles won. So like I said, I won 44 last night, however much it was. Respectfully, that means that there's 69 people, not just like 1 or 2. There's 69 real, living, breathing people that lost to random.choice. What a beautiful world we live in. That's all I have to say. So what do I think of this solution? Honestly, this is probably my best performing solution that I've made thus far, which is incredibly surprising because I thought it would be really bad, and it was 40%. It was 40% good, which is better than the past 3 weeks. So I rate this 694 trophies out of 10. See you next week.